The following program is paid for and presented by John DeMasi. The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Now, WPG Talk Radio 95.5 brings you a very special show. It's The Heart of Your Money, featuring a variety of information to help you and your family improve your financial situation. The financial expert on today's and every show is Joe Yakovich from JML Financial. Now, with Joe Yakovich, here's John DeMasi.
I want to prove to you how much of a man Joe Yakovich is. On a 40-degree morning, he is wearing shorts. A real man wears shorts in 40-degree weather.
You know, he used to wear shorts when it was even actually, it's funny you say that, of all things. A guy named the legendary Jim Correa.
Yeah, I remember him, yeah. I remember.
He used to be the strength coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I go back some years. He passed away, but he would be out there when it was minus 20 with shorts on. I can't believe he's doing that. But
and you're doing it, so
and I'm trying to follow his good shit.
Okay,
good guy.
Good morning and welcome to the Heart of Your Money. Joe Yakovich is here. I'm John DeMasi. Good to have you with us. We talk finances here on the show. 609-407-1450 is the number. And before we get started, want to tell you about Joe's books, Wealth Beyond Taxes, Bulletproof Your Financial Plan, and The Heart of Your Money. All three books are available to you free of charge. All you have to do is call the show, 609-407-1450. Say you want a copy or copies of the books, and you'll get the books. It's that simple. Again, 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. And you did have a seminar or workshop, whatever you want to call it, the other day. And It was informative in that people really told you what was on their mind.
Yeah.
And so, it's a lot of the things that you talk about here in the show.
All the time. We had a group of people on Tuesday and Thursday. A good house. We had probably 40 people in both presentations I made on last week, and it went over really well, John. It was people were asking me great questions. They were really concerned. Number one, obviously, not running out of money, and two, how inflation was going to really damage them, and we were talking about shrinkflation. We were talking about the issues that we're all faced with today. But they were really concerned about not running out of money and not having enough money to live the lifestyle that they're accustomed to because of inflation and what their portfolios have done over the last couple of years. And when you start to talk about stuff like that, even though when I was starting off and talking to them in my opening dialogue, they recognized that in the last couple of years it's been crazy. Last 10 years, it's been nothing but going straight up, and there's no apparent reason for that, and that should have not happened, and there was no adjustments or no fallbacks, just was straight up because of interest rates. Now it's coming down to a point where everything is unraveling, and what's happening is all those big gains are gone. And I'm talking like 67, 80%.
Yeah.
I'm talking about companies that are completely 70-80% of their portfolio or their stock prices just plummeted. So that was something that even people need to be aware of when they have money sitting in their accounts. And when I say that, I mean they have 401ks, they have IRAs, 457s, 403bs. All those companies that we were talking about and we will continue to talk about, they tumbled like big time, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to do it. And I tried to explain to them they needed to be diversified. And sometimes diversification is illusional when it comes to how Wall Street looks at diversification, because it has failed all of us.
Let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Inflation is roughly now 9%. Okay.
That's a low thing. Have you looked at egg prices?
Yeah.
That's 30%.
Yeah. Okay. Roughly 9%.
Correct.
Are you able to put clients in a position where they are getting more than that, or they're keeping up with inflation, or just really keeping pace with what's going on?
Well, what we're trying to do now is answer your question. I feel like a politician when you ask me that question here for a second. I don't know if I'm going to give you an answer. Let me dance for a while. No, what I'm trying to do with my clients' overall portfolio, number one, we have some of their money at risk when I deal with portfolio management, and we're in situations where we are in cash or type of cash accounts that when we see these large pullbacks, we sit in cash, and we're probably 70% in cash. On the flip side, we have vehicles that we put together that it's almost like a hybrid vehicle. Hybrid being that you have the most safest vehicles that are out there. You have banks, CDs, you have insurance companies being backed up by the insurance company itself, and you have government investments, federal funds or treasuries and what have you. And then on the flip side of that, you have your bond funds, your stock funds, your commodities, your stock, your options, and all those other risky investments. That's the real flip side. And you have some things in the middle. You have corporate bonds, you have preferred stock, real estate investment trust, and and those type of things. So what we've tried to do, and this has been around for a bit, but what have really perfected in terms of how we do it is if I'm able to take the same philosophy and using the insurance company as a hybrid, hypothetically a wrap, and make sure that at least whatever we put into this, bucket, that it's insured so it cannot lose money. And then what we do is like a hybrid fund, we add on to this situation where we are able to put in indexes, S&P 500s and what have you, and different indexes that we invest in. So it gives the client an understanding that they can make money on the upside, but they can't lose right, on the downside. Right. And that has been a really an eye opener for a lot of people because they didn't know that existed out there. And unfortunately, it has existed, and it has changed over time because of pricing and so forth. But what we try our best to do is we try to layer that, a different type of vehicles that we use purposely for income, because people were really, and even at my last, like I said, the last two events we did, they were very interested in that concept. They were getting really murdered in what they have invested in for the last, 10, 15 years. And they're all looking at me, and they're all in their 60s. And I explained to them, I said, you cannot afford to continue to lose because the recovery is longer.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's the problem.
That's exactly right. Because they might be dead before the recovery.
Correct.
Exactly. I hate to say it, but that's the truth.
You did say. I said a little different than you, but it was exactly the same understanding that if you're taking a 72-year-old and I say, well, it might take you 10 years to recover, the guy's 82 years old, and that's just breaking even.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to make immediate changes on when I do meet with clients. Immediately, I take them out of that situation and I put them into a guarantee. Like we've been doing a lot of Virtua workshops, and we've collected a lot of different people in terms of what we do with our clients. And it's astounding to me. A lot of the people I've been in contact with have these portfolios that are rolling I'm talking gambling and roller coaster rides going down. They don't understand how to get back up. They know that if I keep and hold and I sit tight, it will eventually come back. But if you think about it, John, it's taken 10 years for these markets to do so well. And now they're at the bottom. They just completely went reverse.
Yeah.
How long will it take to get back?
Who knows?
It might be longer than I'm predicting, but I'm going to take a lot longer to getting back to what their highs were, 10 years ago.
Remember 2000 to 2010?
13.
Well,
yes.
Didn't move.
The lost decade.
Right. So
that's exactly it.
That's proof right there.
No, absolutely.
It could happen again.
And I use that as an analogy. It's funny to say that, John, but I use that exactly that time frame because you had periods of time where the market did really well, and a couple of 3, 4 years, 5 years, and all of a sudden you have 10 years of flat markets.
Yeah.
Now, not counting inflation, not counting taxes, not counting any of that. But then you factor in another thing, John, that nobody ever talks about. And because remember, we're talking about at those periods of time, people put money away. Obviously you're putting money away in all your investments and your insurances and your 401ks and what have you, and you're working.
Yeah.
So you don't give it much thought. And you don't give much thought because you're putting it away. You don't really care if the market's up or down. It really doesn't. It's called dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
And what happens is we've been doing all of that. We've been doing that for the last, for the longest period of time, 20 years. Well, what's happening now is people are now recognizing, you know what? I don't know if it's a setup or not, but now it's time to take the money out.
Yeah.
And what a terrible time to take the money out when you have now
all this volatility.
And you lost a ton of money. I mean, you lost trillions of dollars overall.
Yeah.
And now what do? So you have a double whammy. You have inflation skyrocketing. I don't have to tell anyone this. This is just, we talk about it all the time, and we start it, and it's not going to get any better.
No.
Now, the silver lining, John, for you and for the people that are on it, Social Security, it got a bump of 8.7%.
Yeah,
inflation rate,
but inflation is 9.
Correct. So we're breaking even.
We're breaking even.
But you understand. But it's something that it was been flat for Social Security in terms of the bump every year, 2% or so. Now you got at least a 8.7% rate increase on your Social Security, and that's a plus. But again, it's one of those things. How do you just don't live on Social Security? But if you think about it, at least the people that I come in contact with, and you look at across the board, Social Security makes up a good between 40 and 60% of someone's income.
It's the Heart of Your Money every Saturday, 8 till 9, right here on WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Joe Yakovich is here. Joe is JML Financial, and his website, jmlfinancialgroup.com. I'm John DeMasi, 609-407-1450, our number here in the studio, 609-407-1450. You're going to play, instead of Ghostbusters, you're going to play Mythbusters today, right? Okay?
Yes.
The number one myth you want to go over is markets are volatile and you lose in the long run. Gee, we've been talking about this.
Yes.
It's better and safer to keep cash and invest in savings instead of buying stocks. What do you say?
Well, again, the markets do fluctuate, and there's no question. But since 2009, John, the S&P, Standard & Poor's 500, the largest companies in America, have seen average gains of about 15% annually. So you could see it has done extremely well over that period of time. And it's risen more than 70% over that time for the last century. So in actuality, the S&P, or the largest companies in America, the 500, have done really, really well. But keep your savings in cash means growth won't necessarily keep up with inflation. That's the problem. And over the long term, this could reduce the value of our savings. And more importantly, the stock investments have far more potential to grow and earn and work harder for you. So when you're dealing with a diverse portfolio, and that's the beauty of what I do. I come in, unfortunately, when the house is on fire.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm in the house to build it with them. I'm going, there's smoke here. We need to do something here. So if I get to somebody earlier in their 40s or 50s, it works out quite well. But if I don't, I have to fix what's wrong. And I will also share with you, John, from the experiences that I've been seeing more and more of, because I'm doing virtual webinars and all over the country. When I look at portfolios, I'm astounded to see the portfolios are so cookie cutter. And so, to me, because I'm looking at things different than the average person. Like when I watch sports, especially football, because me being an ex-football player, I look at sports in a football game different than the average fan looks at, watching football. And when I'm looking at a portfolio, it's the same difference. I'm looking at the cost, the turnover, the things that the client don't know or really don't have to know, believe it or not, by law. And what we need to be aware of, at least I'm making them aware of, I said, no, you need to be more diversified in guarantees. You need to have insurance products to come in there, as much as they are kind of boring to you. But at the same token, if you look at long term of what we do, you need to have a little stocks. You need to have quality companies. You need to be looking at it more than once every whatever. I mean, you've seen this and you've heard this. People, they don't even open their statement up sometimes anymore because of the fluctuation of what's happening in the market. So you really need to be proactive with the things that we do, and I am. So I've seen some things that are really disturbing to me because, I mean, in this one particular incident, I had a client where had this person that, coming in from a virtual workshop, and they said to me, I looked at the stuff and I said, how do you feel about losing, and I think I shared this with you, $160,000 they lost.
Wow.
Out of like a $900,000, 401k they've been working for like 25 years on. I said, and he didn't say much. He just looked at me, because I did a Zoom meeting with him, and I was like, wow. And long story short, we corrected it. We started to make some moves, and which is really cool because the wife said, we don't meet people like you. I go, what do you mean people like me? He goes, you do something that's quite unique. And I didn't, when I do what I do, John, I don't think about it that much.
Because you don't know what others are doing.
Correct.
So you just do it.
I'm in my little bubble.
Yeah.
And they said, Joe, I don't think you realize, what you bring to the table. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, first of all, you have a securities background, Wall Street background, and then you have an insurance background. And then you have these connections with like Medicare people and CPAs and estate planning attorneys, and you really are someone that, you go to you and you can help them in a lot of different areas. I said, yeah, and that's kind of what my model has been following. He said, I don't think you realize that no one works like that. And I was like, I actually had to pinch myself. And this person, by the way, was from Connecticut. They were via Wisconsin to Connecticut, and they live there now, husband and wife. But it was a breath of fresh air when you hear that from someone that doesn't know you that well, just starting that relationship. We did some work with them. We rolled the money over, and you can tell how pleasantly surprised they were because they finally met someone that can understand, listen to their situations, and correct the problems that they were faced with. But I don't like to lose money, looking at clients. I don't like to lose money for them, and I do everything in my power to have them understand that, there is a way to be a little bit more conservative in your overall plan than trying to be the gambler and throwing all this stuff at the stock market and thinking it's going to work. And it's not one of those things you can buy one stock and hope and pray it's going to go up.
You want to gamble, go to Atlantic City.
Correct.
It's
exactly.
Plain and simple.
That's exactly
It's the heart of your money. We're coming up on a break here every Saturday, 8 till 9, right here on WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi with the one and only Joe Yakovich. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. 609-407-1450. Have some questions. Joe will be happy to answer them for you. We have more to talk about here on the Heart of Your Money after these words.
Are you wondering how to begin the process of getting your financial house in order? You can start with one simple step. Get your free copies of Joe Yakovich's series of books. Book 1 is The Heart of Your Money. Book 2 is titled Bulletproof Your Financial Plan. And Book 3 is called Wealth Beyond Taxes. You can have 1, 2, or all of the above by simply calling the radio show right now at 609-407-1450. During the week, you can contact Joe Yakovich's office at 856-751-1771. Either way, if you'd like to get the process started and get your financial house in order, getting Joe Yakovich's books is the right way to start. You can also find out more by checking out Joe's website, jmlfinancialgroup.com. That's jmlfinancialgroup.com. With more than 37 years as a financial expert, Joe can help you and your family achieve your financial goals. Joe Yakovich, JML Financial, jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Here on The Heart of Your Money, we know that many times you may have questions, but you might just be a bit bashful to come on the radio. No worries. Joe Yakovich comes to your rescue. If you'd like to schedule a brief phone conference with Joe, all you have to do is call Joe in his office at 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Joe will contact you and discuss any and all of your financial type questions. Or if you'd like to meet Joe in person, he'll do that as well. You see, Joe Yakovich does his best to make sure you have all your questions answered, and in a timely manner. That number again for Joe Yakovich, JML Financial, is 856-751-1771, and always online at jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. JML Financial Group and Brokers International Financial Services, LLC are not affiliated companies.
It's a fall festival at BF Mazzio. All kinds of goodies, including delicious and fresh McIntosh apples, apple cider bread, pumpkin bread, and of course, all sizes of pumpkins. BF Mazzio, where there's always something special. Don't forget the finest fresh fruit and produce you'll find anywhere. And of course, a complete selection of prepared foods and baked goods second to none. BF Mazzio, 601 New Road in Northfield. Online at bfmazzio.com.
And we are back here on The Heart of Your Money. Joe Yakovich is available during the week. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. If you call, well, you'll talk to the boss. That's
Yes,
the first thing.
She is the boss. No question. No question. No question. She is the boss.
Yeah.
She does.
She'll direct you as to where you'll go from there.
Well, you know what it is, John? I never thought about it until it started to just happen. It's almost like, I don't know what you call it, but, you know, as we were, I was growing my practice, and as things started to happen, you know, my wife said, I said, well, would you ever consider working with you? She said, yeah, sure. So all of a sudden, she's in the firm, and we had a couple of people at the time, and she does a great job. And she got licensed, my wife, and it was really fun, kind of fun. People go, how do you do that? I said, well, I don't know. I mean, she's on her floor and I'm on my floor. So we're completely separated in my building in Cherry Hill. And I live down here, so I'm looking for office space for anyone out there that's has some office space for me. But, you know, it has worked out quite well. And my son got in the business, and we still work with. But what's so nice about it is having your family there around you to pick you up, or I pick them up. But more importantly, you know, having our family help the families that we deal with, man, it's so gratifying. I don't realize it. And then I start to have to pinch myself. I said, wow, that's pretty wild. Of listening to people's problems that we can correct immediately and have that same desire, because we are like those folks that we're speaking with. And it really is I mean, for me, it's so gratifying to be able to do that. It's humbling because, you know, I didn't come from a silver spoon. Nobody, Mr. Musk did hand at me, $275 billion or a Donald Trump. That wasn't the case here. You know, I worked hard. My parents were not in the business at all. They
You were a poor kid from Northeast Philly, right?
No. I was, believe it or not, people didn't know this, but in Cherry Hill at the time, it was an area that just started. This is before just about the Cherry Hill Mall that was built up. It was really on the borderline of Camden, Merchantville, and what have you. So people thought I was like this rich kid. No. I was not on the other side of Cherry Hill. I was on like the poor side of Cherry Hill. But, you know, growing up and seeing it and experiencing it, you know, made me realize how appreciative me to be of what I do. It just so happens I outworked most people, and I continue to work, and I still enjoy what I do. But getting back to money, I'm like, wow, this is really a sound idea, and let me share my situations with people to let them know this is not a scheme of, put here, put there, and let's forget about it. That's not the case. It took a long time of diligence, hard work, consistency, and things that people don't want to listen to. Like, actually, hard work is something, it's in my blood. So, working hard to know about companies or working hard to find out what things work the best in my client's portfolio that I did myself. So what I do for my clients and my prospects
is what you did for yourself.
Exactly. I mean, when I get the other day, I got an email from one of the banker friends, and it was really kind of ironic. I'm dealing with the guy for 25 years, and how many times I've tried to call him and he hasn't called me back, and I don't give it much thought. Then like a year later, I call him. I give him every yearly a call or whatever. Doesn't call me back. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, he sends me an email. I go, cool. I looked at the email, and the email says he wants $1,500. He wants me to be a sponsor on one of his events. So I'm thinking to myself, hold on for a second. For the last number of years, you don't respond to me. Now you want $1,500 from me. So I came back with okay, well, you're not getting it because I'm not part of that organization. I'm part of another organization, which is, different than what you do, or the same as you do, but it's in a different region. And they came back and was, well, maybe it's not, maybe we shouldn't, do business together. I go, okay, well, I'll fire you in a heartbeat. It's almost too funny how people think.
Yeah.
And I'm very straightforward with that. I mean, if it's like washing your hands. You need two hands to wash each other's hands.
That's right.
So if you're going to work with me, I'm going to work with you.
Yeah.
But, people seem not to think that, Joe Yakovich, you have it all made. No. You didn't see the first 11 rounds of the fight.
Yeah.
When I got Mike Tyson beating me up constantly and realizing, I know how to do this. I kind of figured it out. And it does take a while, John. It really does take a while to understand it because I become, and even in my last presentations we made with the Rowan College, I become a psychiatrist. It's really ironic how our business has changed and the ideology of how people look at money differently than they did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And so therefore it has, for us, it has evolved where my daughter is now in the business. She has her own profession, where my son's in the business and my wife works with me. And it really makes up a great team. And one thing, or a couple of things, but one main thing, we have the power, which is really the most coolest of all the things we do. We have the power to make one phone call to be able to extract whatever we need in terms of estate planning, from doing irrevocable trust, to be able to do complicated Medicare, to be able to do buy-sell agreements for business owners, to do so many different things by making one phone call to one of our affiliates. And they've been tracking me down for years, and it worked out quite well. So when I say we have a team besides immediate, we are dealing with people's money real time, real person, on the phone, as opposed to calling an 800 number to hope and pray that somebody picks up.
Yeah. Okay, I want to get back to
Sure.
856-751-1771 is Joe Yakovich's number during the week, and his website, jmlfinancialgroup.com. jmlfinancialgroup.com is the website. Check that out. Good stuff on there as well.
Yep.
It's The Heart of Your Money every Saturday, 8 till 9, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5. We are talking about myth busting today.
Yes.
And Joe has another myth. Joe, people say this to you: I need money before investing. I can't think about investing until I have a certain amount of money. Many people think only wealthy people can afford to invest. How would you respond?
Well, that's not so. If you want to invest and start to build wealth for the future, you really don't have to meet any financial thresholds to make it happen. There are all kinds of ways and sorts of opportunities to be flexible options for different needs and goals. I mean, you can do it on an ongoing basis, out of your checking account. We do that all the time. We set up an account, and people can withdraw from their checking account $100, $200, whatever that may be, $1,000 a month, $3,000. It doesn't matter what we're able to do that. So we do that on an ongoing basis. And John, we do that purposely because it's really funny if you think about it. On 401ks, hypothetically, I'll give you an example. People would never ever put money in a 401k if it wasn't taken out of their checking account or their payroll.
That's right. I know that. I've done it.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't go out of your way and go, I'm going to write a check to my own retirement account and on this side. They don't do that.
Yeah.
It's not in their DNA.
Yeah.
And what we have found is that when we're doing work with clients, prospects, what have you, We set them up on those type of plans. No different than you have a checking account or some type of way to withdraw money for your mortgage or electric bill or whatever for that matter. We do exactly the same thing. So we have a way to actually consistently take money, move it from their checking account, from their right pocket, and put it in their left pocket, and tell them, forget about it. Don't think about it. You'll get a statement, once a quarter, whatever. And if you want access to it, we'll give you an access to it. And we do that on a consistent basis. So that's the ones that we deal with, the ones that are somewhat starting out. That's what we do. And even the ones that aren't starting out, if we want to increase what we do for other clients to build their wealth even faster, we do exactly the same thing. The number's different. From us doing $100 a month, we do $1,000 a month. But whatever the case may be, that consistent putting the dollar away on a consistent basis wins the game. I know it's a little boring when you hear it that way.
No, you know what? You said this one day, and I said, yeah, he's right. So I started putting away like $300 a week.
Right.
A certain client paid me, and I put that money aside, and all of a sudden, wow, it was like, whoa, where did I get all this?
Well,
so it's really effective, yes.
Well, it's almost like, if you think about it, John, it's like a snowball effect. If you put a snowball and you start to roll the snowball, it doesn't seem like it's doing much. And as it starts to gravitate and it gets bigger and bigger, remember, we don't have to take more risk how big the snowball is. As the snowball gets larger, the risk is the same, but the difference is it's a larger amount. Remember, instead of having a snowball as big as my hand, now it's as big as the room, and if it rolls one time, it gets 8%. That's 8% on a larger amount.
Yeah.
And that's the consistent basis that we try our best to teach people. And then we have a diversification of, okay, not all your money is going into this particular snowball. We need to diversify that in other snowballs. And that's how we do it. And then at the end of the game, because it's an end game here, there is an end game. And when people understand it, they never look at it that way. Well, what's my end game? I'm going to tell you your end game. And that in itself, John, is different than most other advisors that do it. And I'm only saying that to our audience because I'm experiencing it through my own life of the years I've been doing this. I go, wow, I don't know why anybody would ever do such a thing. Matter of fact, at this last presentation I made, don't you know, John, you're going to love this one. I'm sitting in the audience. Everybody's left pretty much. And I told folks, and I'm going to be here to the end of it. I'm not leaving until all you guys get all your questions answered. And I stay there, and this little young lady walked up. I say young lady, she's probably 60 years old. She walked up to me, and her husband was out in the hall. And I remember her because she was right in the middle of the room. And during my presentation and workshop, I'll point people out, and I'll make eye contact with them, and I'm telling the story, whatever. And she's smiling, I'm smiling back to her, and I'm looking around, I'm just doing my thing. And she comes up to me, she goes, I want to tell you how great your presentation was. I never heard some of this stuff. I said, oh, really? I'm so glad you were here. She says, I don't know if you know this or not. I said, no, I don't. She says, my husband works for Merrill Lynch. I went, really? I was like, oh. He goes, but those guys don't do what you do. I was, really? But I knew that.
They're not allowed.
Well, they're not allowed to take that, and they're prone to do a couple of different things,
right.
And they're good at it, but they seem to miss a couple of other things that I just believe that that you need to be aware of, insurances and besides life insurance, but long-term care and so forth. But anyway, it was amazing to me when I heard that. I was floored. I was like, wow. And he didn't come back in. The guy didn't come back in at all. But I spoke with his wife. I said, and she said to me, which is really kind of crazy, I don't know anything about what I have.
Boy, oh boy.
I mean, that's a scary component.
Yeah, that is.
Well, something happens to him, what do you do? So I said, I would have no problem with sitting down with you and your husband. It works for Merrill Lynch. I have no problem. And I would definitely enhance what you're doing and share with you what I shared with you today. And she said, I would love to do that. So she left, but it just dawns on me when you see that and you hear that and you go, wow. And that's not the only person. That's
not the only one that's in that same boat, right?
You got
There's
it.
a lot of people that are in that boat.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's the Heart of Your Money every Saturday, 8 till 9, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5. Joe Yakovich is the Heart of Your Money, and he is here, 609-407-1450. Our number here in the studio, 609-407-1450. It's the Heart of Your Money. I'm John DeMasi with Joe Yakovich. We have more to talk about here on the show after these words.
Here on the Heart of Your Money, we know that many times you may have questions, but you might just be a bit bashful to come on the radio. No worries. Joe Yakovich comes to your rescue. If you'd like to schedule a brief phone conference with Joe, all you have to do is call Joe in his office at 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Joe will contact you and discuss any and all of your financial type questions. Or if you'd like to meet Joe in person, he'll do that as well. You see, Joe Yakovich does his best to make sure you have all your questions answered, and in a timely manner. That number again for Joe Yakovich, JML Financial, is 856-751-1771, and always online at jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. JML Financial Group and Brokers International Financial Services, LLC are not affiliated companies.
In these unusual economic times, do you wonder what to do with your money? If you have questions about retirement planning, IRAs, 401ks, tax planning, or any other type question, then listen to The Heart of Your Money, heard every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. here on WPG, Talk Radio 95.5 FM, featuring noted author and financial expert Joe Yakovich. The Heart of Your Money will focus on you, your family, and the best ways for you to navigate your financial portfolio. That's every Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., The Heart of Your Money with Joe Yakovich, here on WPG, Talk Radio 95.5 FM, South Jersey's talk station.
And we are back here in the Heart of Your Money. Joe Yakovich, available during the week, 856-751-1771, 856-751-1771, and his website, jmlfinancialgroup.com. jmlfinancialgroup.com is his website. And if you want to get in touch with him right now, 609-407-1450 is the number here in the studio, 609-407-1450. It is a family business at JML Financial. And I want to say one thing about your son.
Yes.
He is such a polite young man.
Oh, I don't know what I did.
Where did he come from?
I'm still shocked. As a matter of fact, not only...
Well, he didn't take after you.
No question. He did not take this from me. But you know what he does? He did something the other day which really was shocking for me and my wife, because I had it on the speaker, and he called and he started to cry on the phone. And my son's 20 years old. He's a 6'6" athlete, the whole 9 yards. I said, whatever he must have did or saw, he was going, Dad, I don't think you realize how much I appreciate you. And you don't hear that from somebody at 28. At least I've never heard that.
No, I didn't
growing
either.
up.
No, I didn't either.
My father never, I don't think he ever said he loved me. But that's another story. But the fact of the matter is he said that, and it really made me think, you know what? I'm blessed in this way because I'm able to offer a service that really does help people exponentially. I'm not afraid to say it out loud. I don't care who you are, Republican, Democrat. It does not matter. That at the end of the day, am I able to get you over the finishing line without you being broke? And if you want to leave money to your next generation, I'm able to do that. And I say this to all of us, guaranteed. Now, not too many people are using that word today because they're afraid. I am not afraid to make sure people understand that what I do, there are guarantees that you cannot, and I repeat, you cannot lose and you cannot run out of money in your retirement years. And people don't understand that. And when I start to talk to them and they go, I don't like that, I heard bad things. I said, well, hold on. Then you must not like pension plans and Social Security. Because they're the
same thing, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So when people are dealing with distribution, John, like we talk about, putting money away and returns, but when you're dealing with inflation, John, and we haven't, and so I can't really go into the tax situation, even though we know taxes are going to go up, and that's one of the questions I asked, does anybody believe that taxes are going to increase or decrease in the future? And every hand went up and said, we're going to go up. I said, well, why do we all have money sitting in 401ks and IRAs?
Yeah.
Knowingly that we're going to pay more tax in there.
Down the line, yeah.
Right. I go, well, and they looked at me and they're like, yeah, why are we doing that? So they got in that corralled mentality, and just like because everyone else is doing it, I'm going to do it. We are different when it comes to that. Yeah. We are bucking the system because when the system starts to break down, we're going to start to see this breakdown with more requirements for taxes in the future or lower benefits. If people say, well, I might be in the same tax, yeah, your benefit's going to be lower. And who's to say they don't give you your whole 100% of your Social Security, they cut back. So there's a lot of if stuff that we got to deal with.
Okay, we are myth busting today as opposed to ghost busting.
Okay.
Here's one. I like this one, Joe. The market is like a casino, and investing means I'm really just blindly betting on winners and that I could lose it all at any second.
Well, you are, although investing also involves some risk, and I don't have to tell anybody, but you can manage risk and dial it back based on your own risk appetite. Remember, gambling is a flashy, fast, zero-sum game. And there's a lot of action out there, and the house usually wins, and we all know that. I mean, I don't think we don't know that. But if you build an investment strategy down based on your goals and your personal circumstances, it's like a lot more like farming. It doesn't happen right away. You got to plant it, you got to cultivate it, you got to water it, and you got to let it grow. And that's the whole philosophy. People, unfortunately, we all have a little ADD in us. It's no question. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, if we don't apply those principles, either now or later, we're going to fail. It's just a matter of time. You want to go to a casino, so be it. But there's some winners. There's a lot of losers. That's why these casinos are all over the place now. And by the way, the casinos are not just in Atlantic City and in Vegas. They're everywhere. So there's a reason for that. But my point to this is it's consistency. And if you don't put a plan together, a real plan of what you say to me, well, Joe, I'm going to have to give you X amount of dollars. And if I give you $1, what do you do with it? I said, well, like 30 cents goes over here. Another 30 cents goes over here. And another 30 cents goes over here. And another 10 cents goes over here. And when I do that, I want to make sure John from Ocean City, because he's always calling us, he always says, well, Joe Yakovich, what happened to gold? What happened to crypto? Even though he hasn't called because they're all down under 20,000. Well, John, that's at 10%, that little 10 cents we're using to be able to go in that risky situation, super risk. And will we make a score on it? Maybe. Or will we lose it? Maybe. So at the end of the day, it's diversification on how we structure portfolios and how people save money.
We have another one here.
You got it.
These are really funny. Investing is time consuming. I don't have time to study reports and stock screens, and I don't have time to be trading stocks hourly, daily, or weekly.
Well, you don't, and nobody does, unless you're Joe Yakovich, and that's what I do. I do all that heavy lifting for people. I really do. My concern is making sure that, and even before I came here this morning, I'm on the internet and at 6 a.m, preparing for the show, and I was prepared the whole, doing a whole week, but I kind of get the last glit of what's happened in the market. I mean, you just saw, major volatility this week in the market. But you have to do a couple of things when we're dealing with this, John. First of all, you don't need to carve out a bunch of time to invest and build a portfolio. That you don't have to do that. Working with a professional that meets and helps you, guides you as a benefit of an experienced professional, that will definitely enhance, and they prove that. That's what you need to understand. The questions that I have for the people that are listening is that whatever professional you're using or talking to, make sure it's proactive. Make sure it's done both ways. Make sure that you set up at least, and don't assume that individual you're working with is going to call you. Call that person. Be proactive. I mean, like this banker. I mean, he could have picked the phone up. He could call me anytime he wants. I'm not going to, even though I called him a bunch of times, if he don't call me back, what's on it? It's like a doctor. Yeah. If you have something wrong with you, I'm not going to call my doctor because I don't understand how people are. If you want to talk to somebody, especially me, of all people, you can get to me. You can call me. You can ask a question of me. I'm one of those oddballs that I'm enjoying what I do and I love what I do. So I don't have an issue of somebody calling me because I didn't call them or they didn't get my phone call. That's totally BS. To me, that's like, wake up. If you have a problem, call me with a problem. Don't do it any other way. And it's common sense to me. I mean, if you're dealing with your money, then if I don't call you, if I called you a couple times and you didn't call me back, well, why? And why didn't you call me back? So you need to be coordinating with your advisor so you understand what's happening with up and down markets and be prepared for these things.
Yeah. I had an advisor once, not you, and I didn't hear from him for 7 years.
Oh, that's
7 years. Then I got rid of him. I mean, I got smart. I got rid of him. But that just goes to show you,
Well, we are big advocates of making sure, and for us, because of technology, we make sure we mail stuff out to you almost weekly, a monthly newsletter. We correspond. We actually have a system set up that we're calling. I'm calling. My son's calling. But not only call, but emails. I mean, there's a lot of ways to communicate. We do a blanket email to everyone. We do this new thing, which I say new, but probably old for some of us. It's called the Bomb videos. So instead of, I don't think you didn't get this Bomb video.
No.
Oh, you'll love this. Instead of doing an email on you, I actually do a video. Chris, you noticed the Bomb videos?
No idea.
The Bomb Videos. Even Chris, I can't believe them.
This is beyond us, all right?
I can't believe I got over one on Chris. Chris, you actually are not allowed, but you instead of sending you an email, it's a video email.
Wow.
And I'm doing a video email because I'm realizing sometimes people will open that up faster than just doing an email.
Right.
You're getting hundreds of emails sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But if you get like a Bomb video, what is Bomb? And you open up and it's got my mug or my son's mug on there, and we're talking for 30 seconds about what the email would have normally said. Hey, good seeing you the other day, and we got this information. We're going to be talking to you. And it's actually a video of us, coordinating what we're talking about. So it is a fun time for us to use that as part of our marketing, but more importantly, to coordinate and integrate what we're talking to people about so they think that we're not just, you're a number kind of thing.
Okay, it's our final break of the morning.
Yes.
It's The Heart of Your Money. Every Saturday, 8 till 9, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5, 609-407-1450. We have time for one or two more calls if you want to get in here and ask Joe a question. 609-407-1450, The Heart of Your Money, right here on WPG, Talk Radio 95.5. Back after these words.
Here on The Heart of Your Money, we know that many times you may have questions, but you might just be a bit bashful to come on the radio. No worries. Joe Yakovich comes to your rescue. If you'd like to schedule a brief phone conference with Joe, all you have to do is call Joe in his office at 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Joe will contact you and discuss any and all of your financial type questions. Or if you'd like to meet Joe in person, he'll do that as well. You see, Joe Yakovich does his best to make sure you have all your questions answered, and in a timely manner. That number again for Joe Yakovich, JML Financial, is 856-751-1771, and always online at jmlfinancialgroup.com.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. JML Financial Group and Brokers International Financial Services, LLC are not affiliated companies.
Are you wondering how to begin the process of getting your financial house in order? You can start with one simple step. Get your free copies of Joe Yakovich's series of books. Book 1 is The Heart of Your Money. Book 2 is titled Bulletproof Your Financial Plan. And Book 3 is called Wealth Beyond Taxes. You can have 1, 2, or all of the above by simply calling the radio show right now at 609-407-1450. During the week, you can contact Joe Yakovich's office at 856-751-1771. Either way, if you'd like to get the process started and get your financial house in order, getting Joe Yakovich's books is the right way to start. You can also find out more by checking out Joe's website, jmlfinancialgroup.com. That's jmlfinancialgroup.com. With more than 37 years as a financial expert, Joe can help you and your family achieve your financial goals. Joe Yakovich, JML Financial, jmlfinancialgroup.com.
And we are back here on the Heart of Your Money. 856-751-1771 is the number for Joe Yakovich during the week. 856-751-1771. And his website, jmlfinancialgroup.com. jmlfinancialgroup.com is the website. A lot of good stuff on that. Check it out. But most importantly, if you have a need for Joe, give him a call, 856-751-1771. We're going to go to the phones, Joe, and going to talk to Wayne in AC. Wayne, good morning. You're on the Heart of Your Money.
Hey, Wayne, good morning.
Joe, good morning.
Good morning to you, too.
Is Universal Life still around?
Oh, yes, sir. It's still around. Now they call them IULs. Now you're dealing with index instead of dealing with just the normal interest rate. Now you buy an index. So you buy an index inside of a life insurance policy, and it works exactly the same way as Universal Life, but it's a little bit different now. It's called Index Universal Life, and we find that is a nice alternative other than cash value life insurance, permanent life insurance, to give you a couple of different things, not only the death benefit and obviously access to cash, but also something else that someone else needs, which is called long-term care, chronic care illness. And you now can carve out a piece of your policy to cover you just in case if that would happen.
Okay, Wayne?
That's a good move.
Oh, Wayne,
Yes,
it's a score. I mean, honestly, Wayne, every human being on the planet should be calling us today because of what you said. Because a lot of people don't understand how it works, how it functions, and why I bring it up to when you ask me that question. It's just it's the foundation of your home. You know, you need foundation. You can't build it on wood today.
That's right.
It's a fact.
Yeah. That answer your question,
Yes,
Wayne?
is.
Yeah, that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the call, Wayne. The other thing, Wayne, you should, and anybody else, I don't know why people, you know what happens, John? Nobody reads anymore. It's amazing to me. They just read one page. They should get my book, and I'll give you a reason why. It's first of all, you can't get it any cheaper. It's free, which is okay, but it's quick. See, I'm not giving you 300 pages of stuff. I'm giving you right to the point information, and with pictures, which you like pictures, right?
Yeah, I do.
And it's in big, bold print. It's probably 110 pages, but and graphs. So it gives you a quick insightfulness of how money evolves, how it works, and why you should be doing some of the things in the book that we promote quite a bit. Fundamentals, blocking and tackling, hitting and catching. I don't care what sport you play. But at the end of the day, you need to have some fundamentals, guarantees, diversity in your portfolio, and you need to stay the course. You just can't, do it and stop doing it. It's got to be consistent. So you can't cry when you go, I don't want it. Well, because you didn't look at it that way. You just, you didn't plan your money.
I want to do one more of these.
Sure.
Myths. This is good. When the market's in trouble, it's time to sell. If stocks stumble, it's time to get out ASAP. Don't stick around and wait it out. Cut your losses and run.
Oh, I knew you were going to. I knew I had that one ready for you. Well, that's the myth. That is the most costliest myth of all, because panic selling is a major, large mistake, big mistake. In fact, bailing out on investments and selling as soon as the market takes a turn may probably be the worst thing, John, you could possibly do in the long term. That's because you lose out on every recovery, and you might have to wait too long to get back into the market after you pulled out. Because I notice a lot of people, even in 2008, John, that got out,
never got back in.
Never got back in. So what we try to do in our way we do things and our overall plan is making sure we are, like I said, diversity is so critical in this steps where somebody's in cash, somebody's in guaranteed, somebody's in risk, somebody's in insurance type of product. So again, there's no reason for somebody to even have this market take a tumble and go, I don't care, I'm taken care of. I mean, that's what's how, when people say to me, did you lose any money? I said, no, because in overall, you made money.
Yeah.
Maybe that little portion didn't do well as you might have liked it to do, but you took more risks and you knew going in that how that would work. So for us, that has been our staple, concrete way of thinking. And that has been, if you look at any successful business, any successful people that are doing business in terms of putting money away and building wealth, it has to work. That's exactly how it works. And I followed that course of reasoning for my whole career.
All right. We're coming up on the end of the show.
Okay.
And you want to...
I'll say a few things. John, being with us for the last couple of years here, our concern is dealing with our clients and people that we talk to, and it's not only this area, but all the areas. So we want to be able to not just, give information and do nothing with it. We're consistent. We've been doing it for a long time. We love what we do. We do what we love. And we want people to understand we don't want them to be a number or call an 800 number to work with them. We have a family business. We work as a family business. We treat people as a family business. For us, it's like a family office. So for us, we look forward to meeting people all the time and looking forward to working with anybody that's listening to us today on the call.
And that wraps up another edition of The Heart of Your Money. Don't forget, we're here every Saturday, 8 till 9, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. For Joe Yakovich, I'm John DeMasi. Take care.
Joe Yakovich is a registered representative with Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of Brokers Financial or Joe Yakovich. The topics discussed and opinions given are not intended to address the specific needs of any listener. JML Financial Group does not offer legal or tax advice. Listeners are encouraged to discuss their financial needs with the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance. Fixed annuities are long-term insurance contracts, and there is a surrender charge imposed generally during the first 5 to 7 years that you own the annuity contract. Withdrawals prior to age 59.5 may result in a 10% IRS tax penalty, in addition to any ordinary income tax. Any guarantees of the annuity are backed by the financial strength of the underlying insurance company. Indexed annuities are insurance contracts that, depending on the contract, may offer a guaranteed annual interest rate and some participation growth, if any, of a stock market index. Such contracts have substantial variation in terms, costs of guarantees, and features that may cap participation or returns in significant ways. Any guarantees offered are backed by the financial strength of the insurance company. Surrender charges apply if not held to the end of the term. Withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income and, if taken prior to 59.5, a 10% federal tax penalty. Investors are cautioned to carefully review an indexed annuity for its features, costs, risks, and how the variables are calculated. Please consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses carefully before investing in variable annuities. The prospectus, which contains this and other information about the variable annuity contract and the underlying investment options, can be obtained from the insurance company or your financial professional. Be sure to read the prospectus carefully before deciding whether to invest. The investment return and principal value of the variable annuity investment options are not guaranteed. Variable annuity subaccounts fluctuate with changes in market conditions. The principal may be worth more or less than the original amount invested when the annuity is surrendered.